guys, welcome back to Comfort Cooking with Ariana. We're doing chicken fingers today. My kids love these things. Like, they don't call them chicken fingers, they call them brown chicken. And my son, my oldest, is all about his brown chicken. So, and he doesn't really like the chicken tenders when we go out, and we always end up wasting the money. We're just getting the toys, so I figured I'd start making their chicken nuggets and their chicken tenders. It's the same recipe. One you cut into cubes and one you cut into strips. So I'm going to take you along on that journey. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to set up my flour. You're going to use about You're going to use about 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Just dump it in there.
Well, which one is it, 10 or 2?
2 cups.
Oh.
And that is only about 1.5 cups. So we're going to about, like I said, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You can measure it out. You can eyeball it. I am just going to eyeball it. I use like the grocery bags to shake because it's easier. I don't have to clean up a grocery bag. I can finish doing what I'm doing, toss it away. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of garlic salt. It's the only thing I use garlic salt for. You're gonna have your flour highly seasoned because your chicken's not necessarily seasoned. You're gonna use a tablespoon of regular salt.
So why use garlic salt and not powder when you could have just threw garlic powder in and more salt?
Because you have me buy garlic salt. That's why. I'm gonna use about 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of celery salt. I'm going to use about, I don't know, maybe 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of ground thyme. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of ginger. Yeah, we're going to use about, be careful with your mustard. Your mustard's going to leave...
You didn't say how much mustard that was.
1 teaspoon. Your mustard's going to leave, if you go overboard with your mustard powder, it's going to leave a very strong aftertaste. You're going to use about 4 teaspoons of paprika.
What if I just decide to use the liquid mustard?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I guess you could put it in your egg batter, see how that works. I never tried it because I'm not adding vinegar, and liquid mustard has a high vinegar content. I'm going to use, I don't know, maybe 1 teaspoon of ground oregano. Now, I will grind my own oregano and my own rosemary. I don't purchase that because it's just cheaper. 3 teaspoons, maybe 4 teaspoons of white pepper. And about, I don't know, maybe 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Now, make your life easy. We're going to shake it anyway. I would recommend double bag it. Mix that.
Wrap it up twice.
Double bag it. This is what I do. Now you can do whatever you want, however it best works for you. I taste the flour because if the flour tastes seasoned, then I know my my chicken's gonna be seasoned. And we're gonna need some more salt.
Is it heavy salt you're looking for?
You're looking for, you want to taste it. Otherwise, you're just going to have a bland crust.
So salt to your preference.
Yes. But you want to taste it in your flour. You want to be able to taste the salt. And because I'm adding more salt, I'm just going to add a little bit more of everything else. Because, I mean, it's a chicken nugget. It's not much else to it. It's bread and chicken.
So you'd say you're putting a little bit of everything, like what? Just an extra...
Well, maybe about an extra teaspoon or so.
Of everything?
Of everything. Because I had to go back in with the salt. I want to make sure that the elements are tasted. It's a, you know, the only thing I'm not going to go back in heavy on is the mustard. But everything else, I will. Mustard and ginger I'll be a little light-handed with. I don't even know. At this point, I can't tell you what to put in there. I know you're going to start off with, you know, maybe I started off with 2.5 cups of flour. Maybe I started off with 3 cups. It looked like 2 cups to me. It's my story. I'm going to stick to it. Alright, let's taste the flour again. Alright.
Good to go?
We're good. You have your oil heating up. Once it hits temp, turn it down a little bit. You don't want to get it too hot.
Well, what kind of temperature are we looking for?
Frying chicken temperature.
What temperature is that?
I'm setting it at 175.
175, huh?
Yeah. Celsius. 350 Fahrenheit. Chicken tenders. Clean your chicken. I've already taught you. I do so much chicken. You should know by now how to clean your chicken. But what's the one thing I always say? Be safe. So once I finish with my chicken, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands. And for a chicken breast, this size, I don't know, maybe this is a ½ pound. Maybe it's a pound. I don't know. But I just start slicing. And I'll take like the fattest chunk of the breast. And that's going to be the smallest one. And I just keep going down. And I cut it at an angle. Sometimes my kids like it. They like more. Sometimes they don't want to eat.
Well, see, now that one's a huge one. Shouldn't you cut that in half, maybe?
No. If I were doing chicken nuggets, I would. That's a typical size tender right there. And so is this one.
Chicken tender, boneless chicken wing, whatever you want to call it.
It's not a boneless chicken wing. It's a chicken breast.
That's what boneless chicken wings are.
I guess. Alright. So I'm going to finish cutting this up. I'm going to get my hands all cleaned up and I'll be back for the next part of this. See you in a minute.
It's been a minute.
So, all we're going to do now is, I have my strips all stripped up. We're going to go to an egg bath. Stick them in there. I mean, you can salt your egg bath. I don't see the point. I really don't like salt all that much. Make sure it's all saturated. But get enough of the egg off, because you're going to fry up a couple of these bad boys. And toss a few in there. If you've seen my fried chicken tutorial, you know that me working in 2 different bowls doesn't really work for me when I'm breading, because I always forget a wet hand and a dry hand. This is another reason why I use the bag. I can just go from my wet hand to the bag, and then I can wash my hand off. But it's just,
when it's chicken, you better be washing your hands.
yeah, but you see the oven mitts. I end up with it's like 100 coats of
stuff.
Yeah, 100 coats of flour. So now you have your first batch in there. Take it up. I'm telling you, my kids demolish these things. love them. But they won't eat anybody. They won't eat Wendy's chicken nuggets. They nibble at them. They don't like them. It's an honor, actually. Okay. Now your first batch is ready. Find your chicken. Give it a quick dusting. Stick it in your oil. It's going to tell you when it's done, like every other chicken tutorial I've done. It'll tell you when it's done. It'll start to float. But the key is to not crowd it, because if you crowd it, it's going to stop frying and getting crispy and go into a steaming type of deal. Okay? I'm going to fry this up. We're going to continue doing all of the rest. But I'm going to pull these out, and I'm going to show you what they look like. You want to make sure that you put them on a drying rack of some sort. You don't want them sitting in the oil. So what I have is I have my cookie sheet, and then I just have pie rests on it. And I can put them on that. That way the oil can continue to drip, stay off of the chicken, because from there, I'm going to stick it in the deep freezer. You have to individually freeze them. Otherwise, they clump together and you end up with one big mound of chicken.
But we'll show that when we get there.
Yeah. So, I'll be back. You can also tell they're done because the fry sound starts diminishing. Because you see these are floating. So they're done.
And it's not all really, really bubbly like it was when you first did it.
Exactly.
You want that perfect golden brown.
You want to shake off as much of the oil as possible. You want to keep them far enough apart so that, again, the steam does not affect the crunch factor of your chicken strips.
Otherwise, they'll be all mushy.
Yeah. No bueno. And you want to make sure also, in between frying your batches, you want to make sure in between frying, you give your oil a chance to recover. Otherwise, you put it in there, the oil's not going to be hot enough. Give your oil a chance to recover its heat. Bring it back up, because your oil is the key. I'm using peanut oil. Peanut oil has a higher smoking point than any other oil. I don't really like vegetable oil because it makes your house smell funky, kind of. Don't like it. But peanut oil, one, does not...
Kinda. It makes your house smell rank.
You get that oil smell. If
Yeah.
you've ever worked in fast food, you know that smell that I'm talking about. You go home smelling like fryer oil.
Like you're ready to be eaten.
Yeah. But peanut oil doesn't give off an aroma like that. It's essentially, it burns clean, for lack of a better way of putting it. So that's our first batch. I'm going to finish the rest up, and then I'll be back to show you the end product. So our chicken tenders are done. These are, like I said, this is what I use when I freeze ahead for my kids for lunch. They're chicken nuggets, and they're tender, so I don't have to buy it. I think I spent like $10 tops on all the chicken breasts, and then I just sliced them into slivers or tenders. I sliced them into tenders. I breaded them. I fried them. Now I'm going to freeze them. I'm going to individually lay them out on the drying rack, and then I'm going to stick it in my deep freezer so they can freeze. You can stick it in your upright freezer if that's all you have, but you just want to make sure that they freeze individually for at least an hour or two. They don't have to freeze completely, but at least for an hour or two, so that there's no steam causing them to clump together, because then you'll lose the integrity of the crust that you created. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Whoop, 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 whoop. If you liked it and you enjoyed it, hit the like button. That big thumb right there. If you like both, subscribe and like, and then watch some more of my videos. We got you covered. So, until next time, happy eating.